Isfahan, Persian, Esfahān About. This sound pronunciation, help info, historically also rendered in English as Ispahan, Sepahan, Esfahan, or Hispahan, is the capital of Isfahan Province in Iran, located about 340 kilometers, 211 miles, south of Tehran. It has a population of 1,908,609 and is Iran's third largest city after Tehran and Mashhad. The Greater Isfahan region had a population of 3,793,101 in the 2011 census, the third most populous metropolitan area in Iran after Tehran and Mashhad. The cities of Zarrinshahr, Fooladshahr and Najafabad, Se-deh, Shahinshahr, Mobarakeh, Falavarjan and Charmahin all constitute the metropolitan city of Isfahan. Isfahan is located on the main north-south and east-west routes crossing Iran, and was once one of the largest cities in the world. It flourished from 1050 to 1722, particularly in the 16th century under the Safavid dynasty, when it became the capital of Persia for the second time in its history. Even today, the city retains much of its past glory. It is famous for its Persian Islamic architecture, with many beautiful boulevards, covered bridges, palaces, mosques, and minarets. This led to the Persian proverb Esfahān nesf-e, Isfahan is half of the world. The Nakhshari-Jahan Square in Isfahan is one of the largest city squares in the world and an outstanding example of Iranian and Islamic architecture. It has been designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. The city also has a wide variety of historic monuments and is known for the paintings and history. The history of Isfahan can be traced back to the Paleolithic period. In recent discoveries, archaeologists have found artifacts dating back to the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Bronze and Iron Ages. It is noteworthy to say that what was to become the city of Isfahan in later historical periods probably emerged as a locality and settlement that gradually developed over the course of the Elamite civilization, 2700–1600 BCE. During the Median dynasty, this commercial entrepot began to show signs of a more sedentary urbanism, steadily growing into a noteworthy regional center that benefited from the exceptionally fertile soil on the banks of the Zayandirud River in a region called Aspandana or Ispandana. Once Cyrus the Great, Reg 559–529 BCE, unified Persian and Median lands into the Achaemenid Empire, 648–330 BCE, the religiously and ethnically diverse city of Isfahan became an early example of the king's fabled religious tolerance. It is said that after Cyrus the Great freed the Jews from Babylon, some Jews returned to Jerusalem, whereas some others decided to live in Persia and settle in what is now known as Isfahan. But, actually this happened later in the Sassanid period when a Jewish colony was made in the vicinity of the Sassanid Gay. The 10th century Persian historian Ibn al-Faqih al-Hamdani wrote, "When the Jews emigrated from Jerusalem, fleeing from Nebuchadnezzar, they carried with them a sample of the water and soil of Jerusalem. They did not settle down anywhere or in any city without examining the water and the soil of each place. They did all along until they reached the city of Isfahan. There they rested, examined the water and soil and found that both resembled Jerusalem. Upon they settled there, cultivated the soil, raised children and grandchildren, and today the name of the settlement is Yahudia." The Parthians, 250 BCE 226 CE, continued the tradition of tolerance after the fall of the Achaemenids, fostering the Hellenistic dimension within Iranian culture and political organization introduced by Alexander the Great's invading armies. Under the Parthians, Arsacid governors administered a large province from Isfahan, and the city's urban development accelerated to accommodate the needs of a capital city. The next empire to rule Persia, the Sassanids, 226–652 CE, presided over massive changes in their realm, instituting sweeping agricultural reform and reviving Iranian culture and the Zoroastrian religion. The city was then called by the name Gay and the region by the name Ispahan or Spahan. The city was governed by Isparans or the members of 7 noble Iranian families who had important royal positions, and served as the residence of these noble families as well. Extant foundations of some Sassanid-era bridges in Isfahan suggest that the kings were also fond of ambitious urban planning projects. While Isfahan's political importance declined during the period, many Sasanian princes would study statecraft in the city, and its military role developed rapidly. Its strategic location at the intersection of the ancient roads to Susa and Persepolis made it an ideal candidate to house a standing army, ready to march against Constantinople at any moment. The words Ispahan and Spahan are derived from the Pahlavi or Middle Persian meaning the place of the army. Although many theories have been mentioned about the origin of Isfahan, in fact little is known of Isfahan before the rule of the Sasanian dynasty, c. 224–c. 651 CE. The historical facts suggest that in the late 4th and early 5th centuries Queen Shushendukt, the Jewish consort of Yazdijerd I, reigned 399–420, settled a colony of Jews in Yahudiya, also spelled Yahudiya, a settlement 3 kilometers northwest of the Zoroastrian city of Gay, the Achaemenid and Parthian Gabi or Gabai, the Sassanid Gay and the Arabicized form J, that was located just on the northern bank of the Zayandarud River. The gradual population decrease of Gay or J and the simultaneous population increase of Yahudiya and its suburbs after the Islamic conquest of Iran resulted in the formation of the nucleus of what was to become the city of Isfahan. It should be noted that the words Ispadana, Ipsadana, Spahan, and Sepahan from which the word Isfahan is derived all referred to the region in which the city was located. Islamic era. When the Arabs captured Isfahan in 642, they made it the capital of Al-Hebel, the mountains, province, an area that covered much of Media. Isfahan grew prosperous under the Persian Buwayhid dynasty, which rose to power and ruled much of Iran when the temporal authority of the Abbasid caliphs waned in the 10th century. The Turkish conqueror and founder of the Seljuk dynasty, Tokral Beg, made Isfahan the capital of his domains in the mid-11th century, but it was under his grandson Malik Shah I, reigned 1073–92, that the city grew in size and splendor. After the fall of the Seljuks, c. 1200, Isfahan temporarily declined and was eclipsed by other Iranian cities such as Tabriz and Kashvan, but it regained its important position during the Safavid period, 1501–1736. The city's golden age began in 1598 when the Safavid ruler Shah Abbas I, reigned 1588–1629, made it his capital and rebuilt it into one of the largest and most beautiful cities of the 17th century. In 1598 Shah Abbas the Great moved his capital from Kashvan to the more central and Persian Isfahan, called Ispahan in early New Persian, so that it wouldn't be threatened by his arch-rival, the Ottomans. This new importance ushered in a golden age for the city, with architecture, prestige, and Persian culture flourishing. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the city was also settled by thousands of deportees from the Caucasus, most notably Georgians, that Abbas and his predecessors had settled en masse in Persia's heartland. At the end of the 16th century the city is said to have at least 250,000 Georgian inhabitants. During the time of Abbas and Isfahan was very famous in Europe, and many European travelers made an account of their visit to the city, such as Jean Chardin. This all lasted until it was sacked by Afghan invaders in 1722 during the Safavids' heavy decline. Isfahan declined once more, and the capital was subsequently moved to Mashhad and Shiraz during the Afsharid and Zand periods respectively until it was finally settled in Tehran in 1775 by Agha Muhammad Khan, the founder of the Qajar dynasty. In the 20th century Isfahan was resettled by a very large number of people from southern Iran, firstly during the population migrations in the early century, and again in the 1980s following the Iran-Iraq War. Modern age. Today Isfahan, the third largest city in Iran, produces fine carpets, textiles, steel, and handicrafts. Isfahan also has nuclear experimental reactors as well as facilities for producing nuclear fuel, UF. Isfahan has one of the largest steel-producing facilities in the entire region, as well as facilities for producing special alloys. The city has an international airport and is in the final stages of constructing its first metro line. Over 2,000 companies work in the area using Isfahan's economic, cultural, and social potentials. Isfahan contains a major oil refinery and a large Air Force base. HESA, Iran's most advanced aircraft manufacturing plant, where the IR.N-140 aircraft is made, is located nearby. Isfahan is also becoming an attraction for international investments, like investments in Isfahan city center, which is the largest shopping mall in Iran and the largest shopping mall with a museum in the world and has the largest indoor amusement park in the Middle East. Isfahan hosted the International Physics Olympiad in 2007. Geography and climate. The city is located in the lush plain of the Zayanderud River, at the foothills of the Zagros mountain range. The nearest mountain is Mount Safa, Ku'i Safa, which is situated just south of Isfahan. No geological obstacles exist within 90 kilometers, 56 miles, north of Isfahan, allowing cool northern winds to blow from this direction. Situated at 1,590 meters, 5,217 feet, above sea level on the eastern side of the Zagros Mountains, Isfahan has an arid climate, Köppen BSK. Despite its altitude, Isfahan remains hot during the summer with maxima typically around 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. However, with low humidity and moderate temperatures at night, the climate can be very pleasant. During the winter, days are mild while nights can be very cold. Snow has occurred at least once every winter except 1986/1987 and 1989/1990. The Zayander River starts in the Zagros Mountains, flows from west to east through the heart of Isfahan, and dries up in the Gavkuni wetland. The bridges over the river include some of the finest architecture in Isfahan. The oldest bridge is the Shahrastan Bridge or Pali Shahrastan, whose foundations was built by the Sasanian Empire, 3rd to 7th century Sassanid era, and has been repaired during the Seljuk period. Further upstream is the Pali Kaju, which was built by Shah Abbas II in 1650. It is 123 meters long with 24 arches, and also serves as a sluice gate. The next bridge is the Pali Chubi. It was originally built as an aqueduct to supply the palace gardens on the north bank of the river. Further upstream again is the Sioseh Pal or Bridge of 33 Arches. Built during the rule of Shah Abbas the Great, it linked Isfahan with the Armenian suburb of Jalfa. It is by far the longest bridge in Isfahan at 295 m, 967.85 feet. Metro and intercity public transportation. Isfahan Metro is under construction and will include 2 lines with 43 kilometers, 27 miles, length. The first line of that is planned to be finished by end of 2010 with 21 kilometers, 13 miles, length and 20 stations. Until the metro is completed, an expanded bus system accompanied by taxis will handle Isfahan intra-urban public transportation. Rail. Isfahan is connected to 3 major rail lines, Isfahan Tehran, Isfahan Shiraz, recently opened, Isfahan Yazd, and via this recent one to Bandar Abbas and Zaydan. Road transport. Isfahan's internal highway network is currently under heavy expansion, which began during the last decade. Its lengthy construction is due to concerns of possible destruction of valuable historical buildings. Outside the city, Isfahan is connected by modern highways to Tehran, which spans a distance of nearly 400 kilometers, 248.55 miles, to north, and to Shiraz at about 200 kilometers, 124.27 miles, to the south. The highways also service satellite cities surrounding the metropolitan area.